Alright, so this is completely unreadable, but we loved it back then, I tell you. This full-page spread is totally not provocative. The juxtaposition between characters is on point. Shout out to the patrons who help fund the channel. You can be one too. Patreon.com/VMCampos. Hello and welcome to the weekly VM Campos Comic Book Club. I'm your host, VM Campos. This is the series where I review a comic book, new or old, and rate it on the factors of the cover art, interior art, plot, and enjoyability of the book on a scale of 1 to 5. And then I tell you to get it or shred it. This week I'm reviewing Aphrodite IX, number 0, published by Wizard, Top Cow, and Image Comics. Get your mind out of the gutter and let's review the book. Alright, a little bit of behind-the-scenes info before the main review. This is a key issue. It is the first appearance of Aphrodite IX, also known as April. This came with an issue of Wizard magazine. I forgot to look up which one. Maybe I'll put it up on the screen here if I don't get lazy. But this is a preview of a brand new Top Cow/Image character, Aphrodite IX. It shows her vague origin, and this was common at the time. We were getting either issue 1/2 or issue number 0 in joint collab with Wizard Comics to get you enticed about a brand new series coming soon. So Aphrodite IX is an Image Comics character. We'll get into all her details in a bit. But she's been around since the year 2000, on and off, and had a relatively recent series as of this video recording. But throughout the years on and off, she's had her own series, which take place in a futuristic world where assassination is the name of the game. Oh, and lost memories and such. But yeah, this is her very first appearance. So if you're reading Wizard Comics, you got this key issue right in your mailbox. So you could fantasize, so you can dream about what was to come in this series. And that's what I'm reviewing this week. Alright, cover art. Well, they weren't subtle at all, and I'm going to give you 2 big reasons why this cover is a 5 out of 5. Number 1, I love the sort of high-tech aspect of it, where you've got these glowing lines and computer printouts such as initialize ready, zoom 90%, bioroid intact. So that's always fun to me, just this pseudo-tech aspect of things. I'm a tech person, and when I see tech in my comic books, I like that. And my second favorite thing about this book is, yes, of course, that is so brazen, like, hey, look at me. Hey, boys, this is what you want. Buy this comic book, or buy this wizard and you get this free comic, and then buy my series later on. So the brazenness of it is my second favorite aspect of the book. And it's definitely early 2000s. This was published in April or so in the year 2000. So a new millennium where we had Photoshop and other graphic software where you can render specular highlights, glowing effects, and lens flare with the touch of a button. So we'll give this cover a 5 out of 5 because it just screams early 2000s, late 90s bad girl, you know why you're here style. Interior art. Well, actually, one more thing because I forgot because I was distracted for some reason. So David Finch and Joe Weems worked on this cover, as well as the colorist Liquid. Now you know. So interior art is the same team there. We've got David Finch, Joe Weems, with actually a bunch of inking. Victor Lamas also worked on this, Marco Galli and Jason Gorder, and colors by Liquid, letters by Dreamers and Designs, is Robin Sphere and Dennis Heisler. So a lot of hands were in this book. And you can tell because every one of them was pressing a different action in Photoshop. Look at this interior cover here. This is so unreadable, but we loved it. Back in the 90s, back in the early 2000s, technology was this amazing savior of humanity. And then, of course, we had it represented in such abstract ways in comics. This was, of course, after The Matrix. So you had to just be this really obtuse, abstract, visual side of things that makes no sense, but just is amazing. Trust me, bro, it's amazing. So look at this little detail here. I love this. This is so dumb, but I love it. Notice how on each of these credits we have editor : // Hey, that looks like an internet website, right? These brand new websites that you type www.aol.com. So this is exactly like on the internet. Letters : / blah, blah, blah. Wow, so internet-y. Besides that, you've got like some Latin text in the background and then lens flares. Like, wow, this is so over the top. All right, but that's just the credits page, the actual interior art. So it's epic, literally, in the sense here we have a spaceship in space with stars and a planet and such, and huge explosion of power. Hey, now that I think about it, wait a minute, that's not the, okay, that's a sun, actually. For a moment, I thought that was just like it's rocket engines exploding or whatever. No, it's a sun and a planet. But come to think of it, that sun is way too close to that planet. But, okay, I'm not a stellar cartographer. So we have the vastness of space. We've got this green glowing coming from the ship. Then we have our first of many double-page spreads where you definitely see the creators strutting their stuff and showing off their abilities. We have this mysterious character here whose plot armor is very strong. Now, I do like this pretty cool, you know, the stained glass, or not stained glass, but the window design here, which you see it here and then in another framing element. So I really like this design with this character, this mysterious character. Now, she's all in black, so obviously she's one of the good guys, right? No, actually. And then we've got this creepy-looking guy over here with his own highlights for some reason. And then this glow, this bloom happening. So it's very cinematic in that that technique happens in movies where you have a light source spilling its light upon something else. But here we can do it digitally for the comics to make it really cinematic. This faded out panel here is kind of nice, monochromatic. And we go kapow, ba-boom. Look over here. We go to the next double-page spread. So this is a very short comic, and it's even shorter because we've got half of it as double-page spreads. So when you're looking at it vertically here and proceed over here, it looks like, okay, it's still a vertical layout, but then the text is landscape. So I think they made a little mistake there. Your eye is confused. You want to keep it going this way, so the text should have been tilted 90 degrees. This page is interesting because you have a very over-rendered design here, and then very simple cogs and needles and technology in the back. That's very interesting. And then these amazing lens flares and glow. You've got some highlights. Now here's the 90s fighting with the 2000s. You have the 90s bits of line that is of that time, but then fighting with the brand new computer colorization here. So it might not quite fit all together. Usually we had these hatchings and cross hatchings because we had very simple basic coloring. But now we've got every single color in the digital crayon box, so you can make these amazing bits of definition and depth just with color, so you might not need those lines anymore. That's a holdover from the old days, the 90s. Then we go on to regular pages. This almost is also a double-page spread. These rapid succession of panels over here showing you something. We'll get to that in the plot. Again, very reliant on computer colorization at the time. Fun purple background, purple gutters. This page is almost monochromatic with flashes of intense red. Computer readouts over here. I wonder if that was intentional. At 4 hours, 2 minutes and 0 seconds, 420, haha. Oh, I figured it out. At 420, spark 1. Got it. I totally understand the message, David Wall. And so we have some scary guys looking on the creation of this gynoid assassin. Another double-page spread. Again, it's a very short read, and it's mostly full of double-page spreads. And at first I thought, okay, she's nude, and you see everything down there, but she's covering herself up there modestly. And no, she's not, okay, YouTube, she's not nude. She's wearing just super skin-tight assassin's outfit that doesn't restrict her mobility. Wow, look at all these sparkles and every single color, and just the contrast between the bright, warm tones and then the cooler blue tones, and then the pervy guys watching the creation of Aphrodite IX. And I asked myself, who has this original art hanging from their ceiling that they gaze upon it every night? And then the final page, another double page spread, another vertical double page spread with a very gratuitous, hey, look at me, I can fly a space bike. Her expression's a little too pensive for me. I would have liked that to be a little bit more of a come hither stare. And yeah, there's no wind in space, but I guess that shouldn't deter you from this eye-catching aspect of the art. And then we have again that main villainous character, and then some guy with a sword, and then another green guy. So it's kind of a mixture of futuristic stuff, but with swords as well, and space, cities in space and the like, and the planet. And then the last page of regular in-story art here, wow, it all then flips over to some sort of grungy, out-of-the-way corner with our main character waking up from some weird dreams, and yeah, kind of ending on a sad note. Lastly, the book has a sketchbook section, so you get very little story, very little preview in this book. It's not the length of a regular comic at all, it's in issue 0. But then you get the Aphrodite IX Finch and Wall sketchbook, where they sketch out a few ideas of characters, and I always love to see some sketchy art before it gets the full treatment. Here you have that preview of the villain character, who later, I'll spoil it, this is Madam Chairman. So, shades of Bride of Frankenstein, H.R. Giger style, and a dominatrix. A winning combination. This is funny over here. This is Baron von something or other. Don't worry, he's already dead. But fun sketch of him with his little familiar, or some advisor and such. And then lastly, we have here the hedonists of the civilization. Off the top of my head, I don't remember if any of these shots then appeared in future Aphrodite books, or they were just relegated to sketches in the back of this very short book, which then ends at that point. So, interior art, I'll give it a 5 out of 5. Merely for the nostalgia of early 2000s excess. When you have every single color in Photoshop, you've got to use it, right? All right, plot. So the plot is by another David. We've got Dave Finch on art, but then we've got Dave Wall on writing duties with Dave Finch, who are credited as creators of Aphrodite IX. It's such a ponderous read about the meaning of the universe and who created us and is there a God and why are we here? And then we have sort of hintings over here. You realize that belief in an intangible and incomprehensible God isn't enough in this world. He can't explain everything they see, and as much as they'd like him to, he definitely won't tell them why they were created, if he even created them at all. All right, hint, hint, so subtle. You'll see about it later, spoiler alert, she is the sort of like grand leader of everything, so this whole talking about he created you in his image, actually it was her that created her in her image. She is again Madam Chairman, the all-powerful one. And what is it that we are talking about creation? Well, a robotic lady assassin. That's kind of another spoiler there. So shades of Terminator, but sexy Terminator. This was, of course, before T3, before we got the TX model. We have a female-type Terminator all being put together with more ponderous thoughts being put out. Your every emotion is programmed, every synapse monitored, every action orchestrated, every reaction anticipated long ago, before you were born. So that's interesting. It's sort of like the predestiny of religion, but in a futuristic setting with a created organism, a gynoid assassin. Once again, we've got here the perfect weapon, intelligent, powerful, resourceful. You can topple empires. You already have, you just don't know it. So again, spoiler alert, this is the 9th version of the Aphrodite series of assassins. This one is to be named April. And every time there's a successful assassination or not successful, the memory is wiped, the body is reconstructed and sent out to another mission to kill. Hey, didn't I first read that in Scud, Disposable Assassin? Anyway, never mind, Scud never had an ass like that. And amazing green hair. So Birch, here's another character that's going to play a role in things. We've got Madam Chairman, Aphrodite IX, and Birch with intergalactic shenanigans. But first, we have to have the mystery in this issue number 0 of, okay, creating an assassin droid, but she doesn't remember. Ponderous thoughts. Believe me, Aphrodite, it's safer that way for all of us. Now, who's the narrator? I want to know who's the narrator. Is it David Wall or some other omniscient narrator. And then the writing on the sketchbook is just quick info there. So for the plot of things, I'll give this a 4.5 out of 5. It's mysterious enough to maybe have you thinking about coming back to read the next issues. It's extremely short, however. I would have liked more detail, but it's in issue 0. It's really focused on the visuals, not the writing of it all, so 4.5 out of 5. Enjoyability of the book. Okay, come on. Enjoyability of the book. What is the enjoyability of this book? It's almost as if this book were put together for me and my particular aspects of enjoyment. Get your mind out of the gutter. This is a very enjoyable book. It is so early 2000s, so late 90s, so post-Matrix, so rise of Photoshop. It's a quick, breezy read. It's all the eye candy. It was a free issue with your latest issue of Wizard. It was a 5 out of 5 enjoyability. As I said, the series went on, first to a 5-issue series, and then another 6 issues, and so forth, on and off throughout the 2000s. And there's even a side story, Aphrodite IX. So this is a whole rich world to explore. And so if there's an over-the-top lens flare, specular highlight, or glow or two, I don't hate it. Now, should you get it or shred it? Well, definitely shred it. This book is trash. This particular one. It's in issue 0. There's very little plot. It's all eye candy. It is tapping into the stereotypical fetishes of boys reading comic books, where they're only thinking of one thing, the plot. But who am I to judge? If you want your own copy of the first appearance of Aphrodite IX, have at it. And yes, I definitely had the Tal Bachman song playing while I was reading this book. And actually, the book ended before the song ended. It is that quick of a read. Oh, and one final thought. What is up with this outfit? This is one of the most WTF outfits out there. All right, so we have like this top, which reminds me like Tifa Lockhart from Final Fantasy VII. We've got these futuristic suspenders over here to hold up what little of the skirt there is. We have to, of course, bunch it all up to check out, I don't know, is she showing off her gun or other aspects of her outfit? We've got this leopard print garter belt, I guess, which you can then attach the gun holster to and have a huge gun. Then you've got the parts of like when she was being created or whatever, and she was in bandages, I guess, so she's got this mummy aesthetic going on. Badass boots that feel like H.R. Giger-ish. Elbow pads, a bunch of bullets, some kind of cool long sleeve things, whatever these are. Gloves, purple hair, a little bit of a purple cutie mark or something. I don't know what that is there. Again, if you stop and actually pay attention to the various parts of this outfit, you're really going to question yourself. And here's another shot of it. It doesn't have the sort of taxi cab design over here, but you've got everything else. Actually, we're missing the gun. No, the gun holster's down here. And I guess there's a couple of bits of the mummy wraps. There's that skirt that will not stay put. Suspenders. I like the other one on the cover better. Oh, she's got green lipstick here, but not green lipstick on the cover. Anyway, I'm getting way too hard. I'm thinking way too hard about Aphrodite IX's outfit. How about you? Once again, shout out to the patrons who make this channel possible. For $3.33 a month, you too can keep this channel funded, keep it going, be a part of it. Patreon.com/VMCampos. I hope you become one of the few, the proud, the contributors to your favorite YouTube channel. We really appreciate it when you go above and beyond, not just a like and a comment and so forth, but actual cold hard cash in our bank accounts. $3.33 a month. What a deal. I would really appreciate it. But I'd like to hear from you. What did you think about Aphrodite IX's first appearance? Did you also love that every other page was a full page spread? Did you love these amazing computer colorizations throughout? Can't get enough lens flare, specular highlights, and gradients? This is the comic for you. Is this story mysterious enough that it makes you want to pick up the regular series to see how far will they go? If they have this on cover 0, how far will they go on the next covers? Did you read this book back in the day? Were you into comics at the turn of the century? On the waning days of the bad girls craze? Does this fill you for nostalgia? For those times, the Matrix has changed the world and your mind, and now they are affecting comics as well. Do you have a copy of this for yourself and don't even realize it's a first appearance? Gotta get this slabbed. Tell me in the comments. So once again, this week I read Aphrodite IX, number 0, published in the year 2000, by Wizard, Top Cow, and Image Comics. This has been the weekly VM Campos Comic Book Club, and I'll see you next week.